The worst disasters in history, tragedies that shook the world. Throughout history, humanity has witnessed disasters of unimaginable scale. Some of these were natural calamities, while others were entirely preventable, caused by negligence, poor decision-making, or reckless behavior. In this article, we will explore some of the most harrowing disasters, including deadly mining accidents, wartime tragedies, and catastrophic aviation failures. Each of these events serves as a sobering reminder of the fine line between safety and catastrophe. 1. The Lily Mine Disaster, 2016. In February 2016, a catastrophic collapse at Lily Mine in South Africa swallowed a shipping container that was used as a lamp room, trapping 3 employees just 70 meters below the surface. Despite extensive rescue efforts involving heavy machinery, drilling equipment, and listening devices, rescuers were unable to make contact with the trapped workers. The unstable ground caused multiple aftershocks, endangering rescue teams and eventually forcing the mission to be abandoned in late April 2016. Investigations later revealed that the mining company had failed to install proper support structures, and illegal tunnels had further weakened the site. Worse still, some reports suggest that mining operations never fully stopped during the rescue attempt. To this day, the families of the victims continue to seek justice. 2. The White Friday Avalanches, 1916. During World War I, the Italian and Austro-Hungarian armies engaged in fierce battles in the Alps in what became known as the White War. Soldiers dug trenches into mountainsides and endured brutal conditions, including deep snow and freezing temperatures. On December 13, 1916, a massive avalanche struck an Austrian barracks on Mount Marmolada, burying 270 soldiers alive. That same day, other avalanches along the front claimed the lives of nearly 2,300 soldiers and civilians. Some historians believe that artillery fire may have intentionally triggered avalanches as a form of warfare. Over the course of the war, as many as 10,000 troops died due to avalanches, exposure, and extreme weather, marking one of the deadliest environmental disasters in military history. 3. The Bud Holland B-52 crash, 1994. Arthur Bud Holland, a U.S. Air Force pilot, was infamous for his reckless flying maneuvers. Over the years, he performed multiple unauthorized and dangerous low-altitude stunts in his B-52 bomber, often endangering his crew. Despite repeated warnings, no formal action was taken against him. On June 24, 1994, during a practice run for an air show at Fairchild Air Force Base, Holland executed an extremely steep banking turn at just 250 feet above the ground. The massive aircraft lost lift and crashed in a fiery explosion, killing all 4 crew members, including Colonel Robert Wolfe, who was due to retire that day. Investigations revealed that the crash was entirely preventable and resulted from years of negligence in disciplining Holland's reckless behavior. The tragedy underscored the dangers of allowing unsafe practices to go unchecked. 4. The Aberfan Disaster, 1966. On October 21, 1966, the small Welsh village of Aberfan suffered an unspeakable tragedy when a coal waste tip collapsed after heavy rainfall, sending a massive landslide of debris crashing into Pantglass Junior School. Within minutes, 116 children and 28 adults were buried alive. Despite frantic rescue efforts, the sheer volume of debris made it impossible to save many victims. Investigations found that the National Coal Board had ignored warnings about the instability of the waste tip, making this disaster a case of corporate negligence. The Aberfan disaster remains one of the most heartbreaking industrial tragedies in history. 5. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster, 1986. On April 26, 1986, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine exploded due to a flawed reactor design and operator errors. The explosion released massive amounts of radioactive material into the air, contaminating large areas of Europe. Immediate efforts to contain the disaster resulted in the deaths of many first responders, while thousands more suffered from radiation exposure in the years that followed. The Soviet government's slow response and initial cover-up worsened the crisis, leading to a long-term environmental and health catastrophe. The Chernobyl disaster remains a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of nuclear failures. 6. The Halifax explosion, 1917. On December 6, 1917, the SS Mont Blanc, a French cargo ship loaded with explosives, collided with another vessel in Halifax Harbor, Canada. The resulting explosion was the largest man-made blast before the development of nuclear weapons. The explosion flattened large sections of the city, killing nearly 2,000 people and injuring over 9,000 more. Shock waves shattered windows 50 miles away, and the blast was felt over 200 miles from the epicenter. The disaster underscored the risks of transporting hazardous materials in populated areas and led to improved safety regulations for handling explosive cargo. 7. The Tenerife Airport disaster, 1977. On March 27, 1977, two Boeing 747s, one operated by KLM and the other by Pan Am, collided on the runway at Los Rodeos Airport in Tenerife, Spain. Due to heavy fog and miscommunication between the pilots and air traffic control, the KLM flight attempted to take off while the Pan Am flight was still taxiing on the runway. The resulting collision killed 583 people, making it the deadliest aviation disaster in history. The crash led to major reforms in air traffic control communication and emphasized the importance of standardized phraseology in aviation. Each of these disasters, whether caused by human error, corporate negligence, or natural forces, serves as a grim reminder of how quickly tragedy can strike. The lessons learned from these catastrophic events have shaped safety regulations, military protocols, and industrial practices worldwide. However, they also highlight the importance of vigilance and responsibility in preventing similar tragedies in the future. History's worst disasters are not just tales of destruction, but also cautionary stories that emphasize the cost of complacency and the need for proactive safety measures.